Wasn't that beautiful? Like, just the way he read it. And Rick is like, calm down. Uh, but I really loved the way he read it. It just, yeah. The church is wild, you guys. Like, we are dangerous. Um, anyway, let's just start. Hebrews 11, verse 1. Now, faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Let's just read it again. Now, faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So that's confusing. How can I have real hard evidence about something I'm hoping for? Or how can I know for certain what the future is going to hold, what is going to happen? Yeah. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Let's just take one example from this chapter. We'll look at verse 11. So Sarah, by faith, even Sarah herself received the ability to conceive a child, even when she was long past the normal age for it, because she considered him who had given her the promise to be reliable and true to his word. By faith, even Sarah herself received the ability to conceive a child, even when she was long past the normal age for it, because she considered him who had given her the promise to be reliable and true to his word. I know sometimes we feel like we need to have blind faith. Like we just need to take a leap of faith, and maybe you're in a difficult situation and people just tell you, just have faith, just believe, look at the silver lining, or, there's light at the end of the tunnel, look at the bright side. But that doesn't really mean much. Like we can't have blind faith. We can't just go into things not knowing what's happening or what's going on or where to put our trust or in the mess of anxiety or in the mess of stress. We can't just do things blindly. That is not biblical faith. Biblical faith is based on reasoning and evidence. We have an entire book of evidence pointing to God's consistent and faithful character. We have the Bible. We have testimonies of others. We have personal experience to draw from, and that proves that God can be trusted. I mean, you just heard a bunch of people say what they've experienced. That's evidence that's true of who God is and our personal experience. God told Sarah she would have a baby when she was real old. Like she was in her 80s. Who is the oldest person here today? Rick. Who's 60s? 60s. 70s. 80s. 70s. Who else is 70? Yes. Wil oom nog 'n baba hê? Huh? Kom aan. Oom is nog jong. So when God told Sarah, who was in her 80s, hey, you're gonna have a baby, she was like, what a fat chance. Like, come on, God. Really now? But then she considered it. She thought about who had made this promise to her in her 80s. God had already been faithful up to this point. Is it reasonable to think that God would continue to be faithful? Yes, it is. Did she have absolute certainty about the future? No, she didn't. But did she have a reason to believe that what God says will happen, will happen? Did she have a reason to have faith and trust in God? Yes, she did, absolutely. So we have to look at the past. We have to remember. We have to consider what God has done up to this point. He said he would send his son, and he did. Jesus said he would die, and he did. He said he would be raised, and he is risen. And he said he will come again. And based on what we know, who God is, what his character is like, he will come again. We need to come into a place of complete trust and complete faith in God and who he says he is and who he has revealed himself to be. We have to transfer our trust from ourselves, our ideas, what we think, what we think we are in control of, what we think we are capable of. We have to transfer that trust into God, who is absolute. He knows what's what. We as humans, we fluctuate. Today, I'm in the depths of despair. Tomorrow, everything is fine again. And then, something happens and I'm so stressed out. But God, he's not like this. He is consistent. He is faithful. We can trust him. He is reliable. He is true. And we have evidence all around us for who God is. And therefore, we can have faith. We can have faith in him, and we can put our trust in him, and we can hope for the future. To hope is an exercise of faith in reference to our future. So you gotta have faith to have certain hope for the future. You have to have faith now in God to have certain hope for the future, to be assured of what you hope for, that God is in my future as well. He's shown me all this time how faithful he is, how trustworthy he is, that he won't just drop me, that he's got my back. And I will continue to believe that into the future because I have faith. I have certain faith in God. And whatever comes my way in my future, whatever God throws across my path, whether, like that song said, whether in sickness and in health, till death do us part. God is faithful and he will be in our futures with us. So let's quickly look at what faith is, not what faith is not, what faith is. So faith is rooted in truth. Faith is based on experiencing God and is the result of relationship with him. We can only have faith because of God's grace. Faith isn't rooted in self. It's not because I'm Oleg that I have so much faith. It's because of God's grace that he has shown us who he is. It's because of God's grace that I can have faith in him. Faith is active. You either have faith or you don't. Your actions and the choices you make, or as we like to say, the fruit you bear in your life will show what measure of faith you have. So faith is active. It's not just hoping. It's not just, sitting back and, whatever will be, will be. It's active. It's in us. And then faith is the trust we have in God now, which gives us confident hope for our futures. Hebrews 10 verse 23 says, "Let us seize and hold tightly the confession of our hope without wavering. For he who promised is reliable and trustworthy and is faithful to his word." And so like Landa said last week, if you have a teachable heart, if you want to trust God more, if you want to have more faith, if you want more wisdom and understanding, if you want to believe God, you can ask him that and he will give it to you. You can look for him and you will find him. He will help you believe, and not just believe in him, but believe him. Believe him. Believe him when he says he is with you. Believe him when he says he will take care of you. Believe him when he says he's got your back, even when it's not going great. That's not what being a Christian promises. It doesn't promise a life full of wealth and happiness and, everything you want, you can get. Yes, it says God will give you the desires of your heart, but let him give you those desires. Let him be the one who places desires on your heart and be in line with what he wants for you. So whether it's going well or whether life is sucky, you can have faith and you can have hope in the future.